Good morning everybody and welcome to Wild Earth this morning. My name's Tara and joining me on camera this morning is Herman and back in final control is Mark. It's a little bit overcast but it's quite a pleasant temperature this morning, so I'm hoping we're going to get a lot of animal movement. Good morning Ephraim. And I do hope we are going to find some wonderful things for you this morning. There's been a lot of hyena activity here on quarantine area, and I've had just a quick drive around to see if there's any more tracks or any sign of the hyena. So a lot of people have been asking about the hyena and why we haven't been seeing too many of them. And I think it's just that time of year, more active at night when it's much more cooler than during the day. So there has been a lot of activity, and it looks like they have headed north mostly, but there could be one or two down in the south as well. There certainly has been some cub activity too from the hyenas, so the adults have been moving with the cubs a lot around this area. Also, I want to catch up with the baboons. They are somewhere over the other side of quarantine, so I'd like to try and catch up with them as well. Doesn't look like the female Shirley has given birth this morning, but we'll go and have another look if we can. But the zebra are here, the wildebeest and impala, so we'll have a quick look at them and move on. Some rest of the zebra herd there as well. You can hear the soft call of the magpie shrike just off in the distance, and the very familiar call of the Cape turtle dove. The impala herd seems to be quite content this morning. So maybe the hyenas were just passing through last night. It's amazing, just in about 4 months these youngsters have got so large already. I think Mark was just saying that there's also been a few newborns in the impala, so we've got to keep a lookout for those as well. Possibly coming from the September, the very, very short breeding season around the September time. Let's see if we can head round and catch up with the baboons, just in case they do disappear. looks like the sun is hidden behind the cloud. I'm looking to see if we're going to get a sunrise this morning. And I also did hear the Birchall's cuckoo calling this morning. So maybe we are going to get some rain. It's looking very heavy, especially off into the distance there. I was hearing Greenwood hoopoes. I wonder if he stays put. You think you'd be able to get him on the tree here? Oh, flew off. Troop haven't come out from behind the fences yet. As we drove past, they were waking up and just moving down into the garden. I was hoping they were going to come out onto the side. Maybe they've gone that way. We'll have a drive down towards Gowrie Dam. At least I managed to catch up with Shirley. As I say, her belly still looks very much rounded. I couldn't see any baby attached to her. But I don't think it's going to be too long now. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a new member of the troop very soon. So when animals do start to show, they're usually very close to term. That is definitely one of their favourite roosting spots. Obviously there's a very big advantage to that because there is a fence around it. Less likely to have leopards interrupting their sleep at night. White-tailed mongoose has been on the move. Looks like we've got a fish eagle down at the dam. This is something very white, just taken off, white chest. That's a stork. That is the woolly neck stork. Just had a nice view of it now. Just saw the flash of white with the dark wings. So we've been hearing the fish eagles, but unfortunately we don't have that have taken this as their territory. Check just along here, just in case the baboons are making their way down towards the water. Woolly neck's flown off. I know it is there. Might just be a little bit too far away for us to get him from this side. No, he has flown off now. Heron that you might be able to hear as well. Grey heron's also taken off. The other one's on the other side of the bank, but it's still quite far. We're going to be able to pick him up. But no movement as yet from the troop. But never mind. We'll see if we can come back a little bit later. Maybe they'll make their way out. We'll have to keep a lookout for the tracks. Good morning, all stations. Anybody interested? There's some mango on at the quarantine open area. Good morning, Ephraim. Just to let you know there's some mango on the open area if you're interested. Copy that. Do you think we'll be able to view them from Officer Goodline? Copy, I'll make my way that side. Thank you, Ephraim. Okay, apparently we're going to go back this way. Because Ephraim has just told me there's some wild dog. And I'm not sure about you guys, maybe you're not really too fussed about wild dog. I think let's see if we can try and go and see them. We are in the northwest, so just on that area. We do get signal there most of the time, so I think it's definitely worth trying, especially with the low-lying cloud. We should get a better signal there than normal. And I know a lot of you are asking how often do we see wild dog, and because wild dog cover so much ground, we don't often see them around here. But I think we've done extremely well so far this year. We've been seen a couple of times now. Check for the troops, see if they've popped out this side. Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Anybody wanting to send through any questions this morning, send them through to questions@wildearthsafari, wildearthsafari.tv. We are still using Final Control at Wild Earth Safari for the time being, so you can use both. We are migrating towards just using questions at wildearthsafari.tv. It'll be quite easy for us to move off into the east. So we'd like to have a quick look around Buffelshoek Dam at some point today, see if there's any more tracks. There was tracks seen on Cheetah Cut line of leopard, female leopard. Not too sure if it was Garuda or not. But there is a big possibility it was, heading north on Cheetah Cut line. Definitely worth having a quick check around there. Just in case we have some viewers who are watching for the first time, we traverse about 1,000 hectares, between 800 and 1,000 hectares on Djuma Game Reserve. Now Djuma Game Reserve is part of the Sabi Sands. Sabi Sands makes up about 65,000 hectares. And we border on the Kruger National Park, and there's no fences in between the properties on Sabi Sands or between Sabi Sands and Kruger, and it also extends into Mozambique too, to the Limpopo National Park. So the animals have full freedom to move wherever they want to. It's just us humans that are restricted to different areas. And because of that, we can get an overlap. There's two packs of wild dogs that tend to utilize this area. There's a pack that's been denning in Zimbambili, and there's another pack. I think that pack's about 6 adults, I think. Come on, Gunda, you can make it. And the larger pack of 21 comes from around the northern side. They tend to move between here and Auckland Kruger. And a minimum home range for a wild dog is about 24,000 hectares. And that is the minimum. So that's one of the reasons why we don't see wild dog very often. So whenever we hear that they're in the area, it's always worth seeing if we can catch up with them. And if they're static, which it sounds like they could be, we may have a chance to see them before they head off. Maybe a morning hunt. So we've just driven up Gallego Shortcut. We're going to turn onto Buffelshoek Cut Line. Apparently they're up by Sydney's Dam. Everyone does seem to think that we should be able to see them from Buffelshoek Cut Line. But I'm definitely keeping my fingers crossed that we're going to be able to. Morning to you, Anne. Anne in Alberta. morning, or should I say good evening? I think it'll be evening that side now, won't it? But yes, we do have safaris all year round, even in the dry season, in the winter season. And what's quite nice is we actually do get to see the different movements of animals, depending on what food is available, how much water is available, and that'll dictate what animals you get in the area. Now, usually we've been seeing the wild dogs around the winter time, possibly because the prey species tend to stay more closer towards the dams, the large dams where they can get water, and that can draw the wild dogs to those areas. Residents do say the leopards Oh. Ephraim, come in.
Three.
Ephraim, come in. Sorry, Ephraim, thought you said I could approach. I'm going to stand by on Buffalo Cook Line. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see them at the moment anyway.
Okay, come in.
Okay, just to let you know, it's just happened. I'm not too sure how much you saw there.
Three.
But looks like there's an extra vehicle has joined, and we used two channels. It looks like they swapped over onto the other channel and an extra vehicle joined. So when Ephraim said it was okay for us to approach, the vehicle did actually join, possibly from closer by. So there's three vehicles there. Aha, okay. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. But there's three vehicles there, and we have a rule so that only three vehicles are allowed to view these animals that everybody wants to see, so it keeps those animals nice and relaxed. And you've seen it does work You can see how close the animals approach the vehicles, and it does help to keep them relaxed. If there's too many vehicles around and they start blocking off escape routes, then the animals get very edgy and they tend to move off into the bush very quickly when vehicles approach. So the system does work, but it does mean that we have to wait before we're allowed into the sighting. Now, just from where I could see where the vehicles were, the wild dogs do look like they could be out of sight, but there is a possibility they could move down towards Buffels Hook Cut Line, the road that we're on now. So at the moment it's kind of working to our advantage that there's 3 vehicles there, because we're not going to be able to see too much from the road. Ephraim said that we should have been able to see them from the road, but I think they may have moved further towards the water at this stage. So they probably were closer towards the road when he said, and maybe moved off. But I'll keep my ear to the radio and see if there's any change, and we'll maybe try and stay as close to this area as possible and see how we go from there. But certainly worth a try, because as I say, we don't see the wild dog very often. But they're so close and yet so far. But we'll see how we go. Keep your fingers crossed that they start moving down this way. And that could be the reason why we've had a lot of hyena activity this morning, that all the hyenas have crossed over. Maybe they've been following the scent of the wild dog. There's a lot of hyena tracks here too. A few buffalo tracks here too. At the moment it looks like they're fairly static. So it wouldn't do us too good to try and get into the sighting anyway. But hopefully if they do move, they'll move south. Who else has been walking along here? Rhino. Rhino have also been moving along here. And the white-tailed mongoose again. Been very busy, the white-tailed mongoose. Could be a different one though. A lot of the Franklin's calling that side, so I want to go and check that out. Just on the Firebreak side. But Anne, I don't know if you heard the rest of the answer to your question. But there are certain animals that stay put all year round, like the impala. Our wildebeest also stay put all year round. Different to the wildebeest up in the north that partake in the Great Migration. Although they are the same subspecies, a type of blue wildebeest like we have here. They do have a white beard under their chin, so known as a white-bearded wildebeest. There's a lot of birds that will migrate. We have around 350 birds here in Juma Game Reserve, and many of them will migrate over the winter time. So I'm seeing a lot of the European rollers at the moment, the very bright blue rollers. European beads, as we're hearing. Oh, there goes some duiker. 2 duiker. Female and a lamb. They have run off. And that's where they get the name from. Duiker means to dive. In Afrikaans, and they do that so well. They dive through the bush. Barely catch a glimpse of them. Again, more hyena tracks here too. The hyenas will also steal kills away from the wild dog, but generally the wild dog will eat a kill very quickly, so unless the hyenas stay pretty close to the wild dog, it probably won't get a look in. I have also heard that wild dog will be able to steal their kills back from hyena. It depends on the numbers, especially a pack of 21 with 10 adults, and if there's only 2 hyenas, the hyenas are not really going to be able to steal a kill away from those adults. But if you've got maybe 4 hyenas, maybe 6 wild dog, then that does change a few things. Switch off here and sit in here. There's Franklin again. It's somewhere around here. I was hearing them. All is very quiet now. I'll try and go as far as I can before I lose you. Ephraim commit. Ephraim commit. Good morning. How you guys doing? Good, thanks. How are you? Good morning. Sorry? Yeah, it feels like that day.
Good.
Are they very flat, are they? Okay. Is there space for us to have a quick look to try and see? Is there space for us to try and see now? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Andrew. Is he on channel 3? Is he... okay. Oh, we'll see if we can. I think they're just a little bit flat at the moment, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can have a look from the road anyway. Sorry? The brakes? Just about. Oh yeah, no, that's normal. Yeah, it is. What gave it away? Alright, you'll enjoy the rest of your drive anyway. Thanks, Ephraim.
Guys.
Two. Three.
Andrew, come in.
Two.
Andrew, come in.
Three.
Which station with Madutch? No one wants to answer me this morning. Back again. There's another vehicle. Okay. They are still very flat. I could just about see ears just to the right of one of the bushes. But there's... At the moment, they're just a little bit too flat. I'll try and keep my ear to the ground. But they have it looks like they have gone down towards the water's edge, which is obviously just a little bit too far out of where we can see. At which station with the Madaj? Andrew, come in.
Three.
There's a lot of sound from the Franklins here again. What is going on with these birds here? I'm just wondering if there is a snake moving because they're all crowding around this area. There's magpie shrikes, there's hornbills, there's buffalo weavers. Look at our seeing a snake. Yeah, I don't know if we can you see the hornbills there? Do we need to move around a little bit? The hornbills are looking directly below them. There's brown-headed parrots there as well. Now birds will form a feeding party, just a bit like the antelope in a way. More eyes and ears to detect predators. You can see they're all flying in at the same spot again. There's a lot of them just flew in. Just trying to see if there is any movement in the grass, because if there is a snake we may be able to see it moving if it comes out into the short grass. But the birds, if you have a lot of them, there'll be more eyes and ears to detect predators, so you will get a mixed birding party. And they may all go for slightly different foods, but they're just making use of each other's with their extra protection, more or greater numbers. Just like the antelope we saw this morning, we had the wildebeest, the impala, and even the zebra all together. And again, that just increases the numbers, so more chance of detecting predators. But just the way that these birds are acting, they were all looking in one place, which says to me that there is possibly a ground predator that they're all just keeping an eye on. But they're not really making too much noise. Most of the noise is coming from the birds in the trees just to the back and not where these birds are. But there is something definitely of interest there for the magpie shrikes, for the buffalo weavers. of open ground here, but they've all seemed to have lost interest. I think we'll take a drive down towards Buffelshoek Dam because it doesn't look like the dogs are going to move anytime soon at the moment. I'll probably eat my words now that I've said that. But there is 3 vehicles there still. As I say, it was worth us checking it out. We may have been able to see them, but I think we'll see if we can come back a little bit later on maybe, see if they have moved. But otherwise I'll try and keep my ear to the radio and see if they do move in the meantime. It doesn't look like there's too much happening around there for us to really stay there. Andrew, come in.
Hello, morning.
Yeah, morning, Andrew. I was just trying to find out about the Madutch. Is there quite a few other vehicles interested?
I've got a site in the left vehicle,
Copy. Thanks, Andrew. Good morning, Graham. I'm very well. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing the balance.
Copy that. We couldn't see them from the boundary anyway. Would you mind telling us if they do move? If you could, that'd be wonderful.
No problem.
There's a red-crested coron there, just in amongst the bushes.
Yeah, I'm on this old road. It's one big game, but it's stuck up the more of a 20 side is going to be. And yeah, this one is tough. Someone running as Zoe said, just 20. Yeah, I think so.
There you go. It's quite secretive sometimes, but they will stand out right in the open. And the males will call, and then they'll fly up maybe a few meters And once they fly up to a few meters, they'll then close their wings and drop back down to earth. And they're known as the kamikaze bird because of it. You don't get a chance to see it very often, but you do hear them calling quite a lot. So it sounds like there was a dip in the radio activity, and unfortunately none of us could actually hear each other. But now that we've come over the ridge, we've been able to contact the guys, and one of the stations there, Graham's going to let us know if they do move. So as I say, we'll keep the ear to the ground on the radio, and hopefully we'll have some luck with those wild dogs. If not, then maybe later on this afternoon we might have some luck. But for now, I think we'll carry on towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, see if there's anything that side, and then make our way back a little bit later on. I still want to head to the east and see if there is any activity of Karula. Maybe come back along Central Road. I know she likes to use that road quite a lot. See how we go. Now, as I was explaining earlier about the different properties, this is the boundary between two properties, and that's why it's a very straight road. Ooh, what's that up ahead? There's something on the road ahead. It looks like possibly a kudu or waterbuck. Could be a waterbuck. And these would have been the fence lines between the properties. Hence why there's such straight roads. Good morning to you, Alan. Good to hear from you again. Hope you're well. And I can explain a little bit about the seasons. For those of you who are not... there was a kudu. Probably was a kudu then. I just saw a kudu whitetail dive across the road. For those of you who are not too sure about the seasonal differences here in Africa, we actually do have the seasonal differences, but they're very subtle, I think, sometimes. I think the most extreme is obviously during the summer and winter, like everywhere else. And our rainy season actually happens over the summer, and we generally don't get any more rain for the year. We may get 1 or 2 showers, but nothing too major. There's a female kudu. I think the rest of her family must have crossed the road already. Good morning, lady. Oh, I'm going to go behind us instead. So she'll stop on the other side. No, she carried on. The family have moved too far off for her to stick around, unfortunately. So it generally gets the rainfall around October, November time. And it ends around January, February. Just keeping an ear to the radio, see what's going on there. And I think a lot of people who maybe have never visited Africa or see a lot of the documentaries where it was shot during the winter time. A lot of people, including myself when I was living out in England, didn't realise really how green Africa can be. And with all the rains over that period, it really just springs to life. And you can still see there's a lot of greenery around. And the foliage is very thick, so it can be a little bit more difficult to see animals because of the foliage being so thick. But as the rains start to subside like they are now, you can start to see already some of the grasses are starting to discolour, getting more yellow grasses and browns. The foliage on the trees is still there, but it is starting to discolour a little bit, just like anywhere else in autumn. So we are going into our autumn period now. Ah, another kudu up ahead. There is a legless skink crossing the road. You see him? I think this is what we had one of the magpie shrikes toying with the other day, and it couldn't decide whether it was going to try and eat it or just try and chase it off the road. I think it is one of the species of the legless skink, but I'm sure Mark will be able to help me out. It's the first time I've seen one up close like that, and it was probably about this long. About that. Mark's saying all he saw was a squiggly thing. But it did look like a legless skink. Oh, what colour was it? It was grey with purple, almost like purple lines on the top, or blotches on the top. I would say like a marbled colour, yes. I think I've got a picture of one in my reptile book, and that's one of the few books that I haven't brought along with me. That and my flowers and tree book. But I'll see if I can locate a picture maybe on the internet and put it up on Facebook. Anybody is interested. Ah, Mark said he's got a photo of one that he took in camp. So hopefully if I can when we get back to camp, I'll see if I can have a look at it and see if it is the same as what I saw. But that is a new species to me. First time I've seen that. Which is always great. You don't see them very often. Now there's a question. Are they regular blotches or irregular? I'd say irregular. I'd say irregular. Go on a little bit. Actually, no, we'll go down this one. See what's going on this side. So as I say, as we go into our autumn time, just like anywhere else, we're getting the foliage changing colour. We still have a lot of evergreens, which can confuse things. But their leaves just die back a little bit, and they just lose their bright green colour. And a lot of the trees will keep their foliage throughout the year. Winter time, very dry, and that's what a lot of people do associate with Africa. Very, very dry. Not much water. The dams and pans and rivers start to dry up. So that'll be in Northern Hemisphere's time, that'll be your summertime. And then springtime, again a burst of colour with all the flowers on the trees. Definitely quite a wonderful break from the dry Africa. And you know that spring is on the way when you start to get the migrant birds coming back and the bride of the bush with the white flowers, common wild pear, which is usually the first to flower. So once you start to look for those changes, they are there. As I say, they can be quite subtle. And the temperature changes also, going from extremely hot throughout the days, whereas in winter time you can still run around in shorts and t-shirts, but as soon as the sun dips, it is freezing. And believe me, I'm from the UK and I know what cold is. and it gets extremely cold here. Thistle Dam. You can hear the faint call of the ghost bird. I have to wet my whistle. I'm struggling to whistle this morning. There we go. I can show you the grey-headed bushrat. It's calling somewhere off over that side. This one here. There is a ghost bird because of the sound. It is quite haunting. There is some movement in the water, but I haven't seen any hippos yet. A lot of insects touching the water surface. Nobody's lying up on the banks. There's a little bird calling very close by, a little crombeck. The francolins you may have heard just now. It sounds like the weaver birds are finished for the season. I did see one of the pied kingfishers flying over here, but I don't see where he landed though. Could be just in front of us.
Okay, copy.
Okay, we'll move on. Seems very still this morning. I just saw the body of a hippo. Wild dogs are still very flat, apparently. Yep, just there. Just saw the nostrils. They're underwater. That gives us a good excuse to check out this side of the world. The sun's just starting to break through those clouds now. And good morning to you, Corey. Corey wanting to know how high the Gunda is off the ground. Oh, Cook, sorry. Cook. Good morning to you, Cook. And there's the nostrils of the hippo again. I think the hippo might be sleeping. It stands, what would you say, Herman, about a metre? About a metre off the ground. That is the cell, there's the body of the hippo. So walking along the ground. It's not too deep here by the looks of it. But it is about the same height as any SUV. Cook. don't think this hippo wants to show his face today. And hippos will sleep underwater, and it's a natural reflex. They can hold their breath for about 4 or 5 minutes, possibly longer when they are sleeping. But it's a natural reflex that when they are sleeping, just their head gets raised up and just the nostrils will be exposed. He's made his way all the way over to the other side of the bank now. See if it's going to emerge. Oh, hello, little Lurie. Have a look at the grey Lurie, just on the edge of the water. And if we're able to see him. I must admit I prefer the old name rather than the new name of the grey go-away bird. The grey Lurie just has a much nicer ring to it. But he does say his name. He says, "Go-woo! Go-woo!" Oh, hippo's not resurfaced. So no cameras today, thank you. Let's check out Yarra Road North. Even our pie kingfishers have been very quiet. Just heard one calling now, but otherwise pretty quiet. Oh, there was a slender mongoose again, just ran across the road. If you remember, we had 2 slender mongoose here not too long ago. That was probably one of the same individuals. Disappeared. Just thinking on my possible legless skink. I'll see if I can bring a picture along on Game Drive 2 this afternoon for those of you who aren't able to access or don't want to access Facebook. And unfortunately, because I haven't seen one too often, I don't really know too much about them. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research myself, find out a little bit more about them. But that's one of the things I love about the bush. It constantly teaches you new things. As I say, you don't know what you're going to see every day. Every day is different. And even when you see the same animal, it's always doing something different. Ooh, 2 tree squirrels just sitting in the tree here. Looks like a pair of bookends. Probably just a little bit smaller than the grey squirrel. And one thing that sets rodents apart from other animals is they lack the canine teeth. They have quite a large opening in their skull where the canine teeth would normally be. Not sure if we're a predator or not. I think he's deciding actually we're not a threat. You see it's starting to go about its normal business again. Yeah. Even though they're known as tree squirrels, you can see they come down to the ground quite a lot, picking up marula fruits and nuts from the ground, maybe any seeds that may be on the ground. There he goes, he's running in the road now. And if you look at the tracks, it's very characteristic of the tree squirrel. If you look at how it's running, with the front feet and the back feet slightly splayed. So you have a very characteristic track as they do jump all over the ground. Go on. And looks like the clouds are starting to break up a little bit. I always think this is a perfect leopard road. This and Yara Road South. It's nice and shady, plenty of good trees to lie in, plenty of good shady spots on the ground to lie in, and that's one thing that's been quite interesting for me to see. when you think of leopard, you always think of them lying in the trees during the day. The leopard here in Sabi Sands seems to spend a lot of the time on the ground sleeping. Most of the time we see them in the trees if they have a kill to hide away from predators. I'm sure they do spend time in the trees sleeping, especially if there's a lot of hyena activity or lion activity around. It has been quite interesting at how often we have found them just sleeping on the ground. Taking Duna for example, he must have been on the ground the whole day when we found him 2 days ago. Remember, the monkeys were calling. During morning drive, and we found him in the afternoon drive, and the monkeys were still looking in the same area, same tree they were sitting in. Sure, there'll be a lot of decent hiding places for Karula's cubs along here. I'm sure there'll be a few good spots. She was last seen heading towards Arathusa. They say there were some tracks on Cheetah Cut Line yesterday morning of a female leopard. So I'm unsure if it was Karula or not, but she may be heading for a different spot now. She seems to like to hunt fairly close to where she leaves the cubs. It doesn't seem that she goes any further than about a kilometre and a half away, which kind of does tie in with some research that was done on a female. She was collared, and she also didn't seem to stray too far. At most she strayed about 2 kilometres, but she would usually hunt around a kilometre or so. But who knows if that is the norm? It could be the norm in this area where there's high density of prey, maybe elsewhere where the leopards have a much larger territory, not as much prey available. It may be different. They may have to leave the cubs for much longer periods and go hunting further afield. But obviously when that happens, they are more susceptible to predators, even other leopards. There's a herd of impala that like this area. The ram. Doesn't look like there's any new births here at the moment. Sorry, mister. Very young male in front. Yeah, I'm probably just over about 4 months old. Already a couple of centimetres horn growth. Got a long way to go before he reaches the same length as the male in shock now. He's a beautiful male, that ram. Life expectancy for a male, well, for an impala is probably about 12 years old. This male's probably not far off actually, maybe he's about 10 years old, 8 or 10. We've got a beautiful set of horns there. See already the mud in these pans is starting to dry out.
Lying up, that's to them. Was your father. That is contact where came from the way now when let's go road away from the junction line. Pull it over.
Thanks, Graham. I copied. I'll see if we can make my way that side a little bit later, see if they have moved.
No problem, next hour.
Copy that. Just another day from Graham there, just saying that the wild dog is still very flat, still in the same place. And just in case we have any people that have just joined us, I just want to go down to Chelapan, I think. Good afternoon, good morning even, boys. Male Impala here in a bachelor group. And as the year wears on, we're going to see the male Impala starting to break away from each other. They're starting to hold on to territories, and they won't tolerate each other in the territories any longer. But we did have a call come in about wild dog just on the northwestern side of our property, or our area that we traverse. We did try and go up and have a look, and we were told that we may have been able to see them from the road. They were possibly moved from that spot, and unfortunately by the time we got there we couldn't really see them. They were just lying a little bit too flat, and the ground is just a little bit too low, so we couldn't even get any height from where we were. We could just make out two tips of the ears, and that was about it. So what I'm doing is we're driving around, and I'm keeping my ear to the radio, and if they do move, because they're actually just by Sydney's Dam, which is just north of Buffalo's Hook Line. So unfortunately we're not able to actually go and view the dogs. As I say, it was worth us having a check to see how close to the road they were. They could have easily been lying on the road. But I'll keep my ear to the ground on the radio, and if it sounds like they are moving, then I'll see if we can go and have a look. But I may make my way up that side and just see if we have any luck with them moving in that area. But at the moment they're just very flat apparently, they're sleeping. It's not really worth us sticking around at the moment. There is a lot of vehicles also wanting to try and view the dogs. So we'll be just driving around in circles in that little area, and there wasn't too much going on that side. And sometimes you do have to admit defeat. But I am hoping we may have some luck later on this afternoon. We'll start moving around. They may just make their way this side. We've got a lot of game on the quarantine area, the zebra, the wildebeest, the impala. They may send a couple of scouts out into the area to have a look around, see what's going on. We'll have a quick look down towards Twin Dams and Treehouse Dam, and I'll head back towards quarantine area and see if the baboons are around again. So we'd like to catch up with them and keep a close eye on them, since we do have a female that is pregnant, and she's heavily pregnant. She's looking like she's going to pop any time soon. Oh, sorry Mongo, didn't see you then. Some old elephant tracks on the road. And another squirrel on the road. Oh, gonna have a look through the elephant dome for any fruit. Speaking of rodents, I wonder if anyone can tell me what the largest rodent in South Africa is, and what the largest rodent in the world is, and where it lives. There's 3 questions for you this morning. What the largest rodent is in South Africa, and what the largest rodent is in the world, and where it lives. See if anybody comes back with the right answers. If you would like to send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. Wet elephant dung on the road. Put it in from last night though, there's no fresh tracks with it. There is still a little bit of wind this morning. Still keeping a nice pleasant temperature, but the animals have been missing for a couple of days, or a day or so, in that they have been hiding in the bush, and it could be there is a big storm on its way. It's been extremely hot for the last couple of days. And I would have thought we'd get a lot of animal activity because it is quite a pleasant temperature this morning. Not too hot, not too cold. Just like the 3 bears. Here we are at Twin Dams. Is that the crocodile there, I wonder? We have had a little crocodile here the last couple of days. It's probably about 1.5 meters or so. Yeah, I'm seeing movement down there. It could just be submerged down here. I did see something move, but I'm not sure if it was that or not. That's what makes them one of the top predators. They can hide just below the surface of the water. And you never even know it's there. much movement around. Lots of old elephant dung. Alan was asking about seasonal movement earlier. That one just sprung to mind as well, the elephants. Remember maybe about a month and a half ago we weren't seeing any elephants at all. They'd all headed north for a little holiday. But as soon as the marudas started to grow the fruit, the elephants were back. You don't tend to see zebra too often at the moment. Again, as we go into winter, we'll see them more often. You'll hear people asking on the radio, has anyone seen any mangua? Has anyone seen any zebra? Giraffes also, we don't see too many giraffes this time of year. Although we have been quite lucky recently. On to Gary, Maine, heading west. Still no sign of Karula at the moment. Looks like there's been a jackal around here. Well, that'd be nice to see. We haven't seen a jackal for a while. And a lot of rhino movement here too. It looks fairly fresh. They may still be in here. Thanks, Valerie. Well done. Got it right. Anybody else wants to send through answers? Kimberly also got which is the largest rodent in the world. Valerie also where it's from. I wonder if anyone's come back with the largest rodent in South Africa yet. Joe S. and Kelly, sounds like you got it right. Trillium, sorry Trillium. Awesome. Lynn also. Lynn in Dallas. A lot of people sound like they've got it right. Wonderful to hear. For those of you who are not sure, porcupine is the largest rodent in South Africa, the Cape porcupine. There's a few species of porcupine. Ooh, let's try this road. So that's where I'm seeing those tracks for the rhino. So they look pretty fresh to me. And the largest rodent in the world is a capybara. Looks like a huge guinea pig. It's got a gland on its nose. It's got this big black spot on its nose. Slightly webbed feet. They spend a lot of time in the water. It's probably South America where they're from. It's probably their equivalent of our hippo. Kind of fills the same role. They're quite large. So it's to stand on the dashboard here, probably stand about that tall, and from here to here, that length, about that long. Quite a cute noise that they make as well. Almost like a purring sound. Not quite a purring sound, it's sort of kind of thing. I suppose cooing. Cooing rather than purring. Come on rhinos, I know you've been here. Where are you? You're around here somewhere. You watch, they'll probably pop out like twin downs. How many rhino tracks to say they've come out yet? I'm not seeing anyone on this side. So may have crossed on that little patch that wasn't too good for some tracks. must still be in this block here somewhere then. It might be worth us checking Elephant School Road. Maybe they've cut straight through. On the way through here. I think that's got to be one of my favourite calls in the bush. Rattling Sister Cola. And a lot of elephant activity here. Okay. Lots and lots of elephant activity. All heading this way. But no sign of those rhinos. Actually look like the rhinos doubled back on themselves. Look like they came from the east, lay down for a bit, and then went back east. I did that sort of thing. So I wonder if their path was changed, maybe by a vehicle. Maybe they were sleeping there first thing this morning. So there is a few vehicle tracks over them, so they're fresh, but they're not a few minutes old. Older than that. I was hoping they were still going to be fairly close to that road. Maybe just moved off a little bit. It may still be in this block here somewhere. Sorry? We've got the elephants. Ah, there they are. Great elephant. So I'm looking at the tracks on the ground. There's another elephant there. Doesn't look like Karula's around. Egyptian geese have just swum off. Somebody was asking about the Egyptian geese the other day. It'd be difficult for us to see them there. Good morning. There's another one having a scratch there too. I can just squeeze off here. And there's a couple actually lying down in the road. Stations Schlambiev and Love at Treehouse Dam.
Down coming.
I wonder if this is the same herd that Mark found yesterday. Looks like she's already been in the mud as well herself. And now it's time for a bit of a dust bath. And two youngsters lying in the road. So I wonder if we can maybe pull further forward. We might be able to see slightly better from around the back of the bush. I'm going to stand up now. Now that I've said that, see them kicking their legs and trying to get the momentum to stand up again. Let's see if we can move forward, because it looks like these two are going to start playing. I don't know if we're able to see it too well. It looks like the rest of the herd are moving that way. So it might be beneficial for us to actually go around the other side and come in front this side of the road. But let's just see what happens. Hello, little one. Saw one or two individuals that side also moving that way. Bush willow is on the menu for breakfast this morning by the looks of it. See what Mummy's up to. Being left behind. He's scratching himself. Hi Diane, I was also wondering the same thing. Are these the same? Whoops! Terminalia that he was just scratching himself on. Unfortunately, he put too much force into him, broke it, and was starting to fall on him as he started to walk underneath it. But I was wondering the same thing, Diane, if these were the same elephants as Mark found. That wasn't me, that was your fault. Don't blame me. But also, you're wanting to know if they do stay in the same area for a little while. And it really does depend on the amount of food available. So there has been a herd a little while ago that we were seeing on a regular basis every day. And obviously the matriarch decided that they'd had enough food from this area and decided to move on. But I think the one that Mark found yesterday had a lot of juvenile males. And I don't think we've seen all of the herd yet. And I think Mark was also saying the rest of the herd could have been up ahead of those cows with the young males. So this could have been the other part of the herd. But they can travel many kilometers over a day. They can stay in one area for a few days, so it's highly variable. It does look like, yeah, they have gone off that way, so it wouldn't have been beneficial for us to go around. And that's always the risk you have to take if you are going to go around from a different angle. 'Cause it could be that the animal does actually walk off and go further into the bush. Well, let's see if we can't get another view. And what would be really wonderful is if we bump into those rhinos. I'm pretty sure they're still in the area. As I say, the tracks were fresh enough that they could be. She's slowly moving. Actually, with the elephants being in the bush, it's going to be difficult to see them really nicely, but just see these two young bulls starting to spar a little bit. And it looks like the herd are generally moving in this direction. He's coming to sniff us out. See him lifting up his trunk and having a sniff of us. Oh, and here comes the lady. Now she's got to be quite distinctive. She's got quite a big tear in her ear. Oh, welcome to Wild Earth. Oh, what a wonderful way to spend a Sunday morning with a herd of elephants having breakfast. Herman's on camera. My name's Tara. It's been a very peaceful day here so far. The temperature is starting to rise again, the humidity also. I wonder if we're going to see some rain here at Juma Game Reserve. I'm sure these elephants will enjoy it if it does start to rain. Actually, there's two cows with tears in their ears. I think Finn has a tear in her right ear, if I remember rightly. Was that right? these two young bulls have been sparring a little bit, so I'm wondering if we're going to see some more some more play from them. I think he's enjoying using the silver cluster leaf more than what the knobthorn. Well, he was just scratching himself on a big knobthorn. I think with the rough bark of the silver cluster leaf, obviously it got to the places that were in desperate need of a good scratch. So it's quite deeply grooved on the bark. So I think it must have done more than you can see. It's almost quite a bare patch. That tree must be quite a favourite scratching post, and animals do have their favourite scratching posts, and that one looks like it has been used a few times and obviously worn down. That's the knobthorn just behind me here. Just about to see there's still the two little ones just to our left now, starting to play a little bit. It's difficult to say how big this herd is. There's elephants coming out from all over the place. But what is really nice, absolutely magical, is when the elephants surround you like this and there's no aggression, They're just so relaxed and they accept you as being just part of the environment and nothing to worry about. And when they just come so close and they're obviously checking you out and having a look, but they're just so accepting of you. And I think that is definitely one of the most magical experiences you can ever have in the bush. So we're all heading off that way. Let's see if we can maybe catch up with them again. Otherwise, we shall leave them to it. Elephants can spend maybe 14, even 16 hours a day searching for food and feeding. So that's one of the reasons why they can cover so much ground. In search of food. Now, even though elephants can be highly destructive, and you saw the young male pushing over a silver cluster leaf as he was trying to scratch himself, and you hear trees breaking and branches breaking, and that can actually help seeds to be trapped by these branches and trees that fall, and they act like a protective cover to stop any animals trying to eat the saplings once they do germinate. So they can actually encourage growth, and they also help to open up the bush if it's too thick. Now it's getting a little bit thick in here again. If it is too thick, they help to open up the bush. It's thinning out a little bit now. And it allows maybe some of the plants that have been stunted because of too much shade over them by other trees. It may just encourage those plants to grow, it may encourage other plants that have been waiting for a chance to grow. So it helps to stop the bush from becoming too thick in certain areas. Here they come. Where are you going to pop out? You're going to come this way? I can hear them. And just an update, someone said that they were still sleeping, the dogs were still sleeping underneath the tree. So I don't think we're going to head back that side this morning. We'll certainly try this afternoon though. And here they come again. And another bush willow by the looks of it. on the menu. If anybody has any interesting elephant facts that you'd like to send through, let's see what you guys come up with this morning. Any of your favourite facts? Or one that you haven't heard for a long time? Looks like there's another elephant scratching himself through the bush there. And when they have the mud on their bodies, the mud will harden and it'll also stick to any parasites, any ticks, anything like that that's on their body. So once they scratch the tree and the mud falls away, it will also pull out any of those ticks and parasites. So apart from keeping their body nice and cool and moisturised, it also helps in that way too. I wonder if he's thinking, you smell funny. I think he was also thinking of maybe eating this bush willow next to us and maybe deciding against it. You see them picking up the trunks quite a lot. You've seen especially this young bull here. They're picking up his trunk and smelling us. And the eyesight is good, but it's not great. They've got pretty close eyesight, so they can see what they're eating. They don't have to look on the floor. They can use their trunk to try and sniff out any marula fruits on the floor, as you've seen them doing quite a lot this time, or this last month or so. But they'll be looking at what they're eating in the bushes and in the trees. But maybe past 60, 70, 80 meters, then they're not really going to be able to see too much. It might be blurred. So it's more close eyesight that they have. So that's why they rely more on their sense of smell and the hearing to back up with what they're seeing. And they've got exceptional hearing. Especially with those large outer ears. Helps to funnel in any sounds from anywhere. And they can hear other herds maybe about 4 kilometers away. And they can recognize individuals maybe about a kilometer and a half away. It's exceptional hearing. And if you've got one good sense, you don't necessarily need to have good long distance eyesight. The other senses will make up for it. We're probably going to be better going out the way we came in, maybe. Actually, no, maybe up ahead. If anyone's got any unusual facts about elephants, if anyone has sent through the weights, maybe the weights some people might enjoy hearing. Helen Hewitt. They weigh Alan Hewitt. Sorry, Alan. Alan Hewitt. They weigh in about 10 pounds. £10,000. There we go. I was thinking that sounds a bit wrong. Which is roughly about. Well, it depends on whether it's male or female. But female's about 4 to maybe 5 tons, males about 5 to 6 tons. Maybe there will be elephants slightly larger than that, but around average. Females are about 4, males are about 6. Kimberley, they can consume up to about 495 pounds of food. And as I said earlier, can spend up to about 16 hours a day feeding. I'll give it one more go, see if we can catch them crossing the road. Might have another chance to see the little one. Turn around while they're still making their way this side. Stations Llanbihaf and Love are now mobile, heading towards Weaver's Nest Road. I was also hoping we might bump into the rhino here. But it looks like they have changed the direction slightly. It looks like they're heading more south and rather than crossing the road. sure they have a plan in mind. I'm sure the matriarch does. Oh, they are crossing the road. Which way are you going, little one? Look on that side. Nice one, Jody. Jody, great to hear from you in New Mexico. And they do walk on the tips of the bones in their feet. And the rest of the foot is made up of soft tissue. And that is why they walk so quietly. If you actually listen to an elephant, you can hardly hear it. If you were on drive with us the day before, in the morning, we had an elephant and a calf cross behind us in the road. And the only reason why we knew that she was there was the bull reacted to her. That's the sound that you generally hear from an elephant, breaking branches. They do walk on the tip of their bone. Now this one could be slightly controversial. Helen, welcome on board Helen, saying that elephants have the largest brain in the animal kingdom. Now the reason why I say it's controversial, I know elephants definitely have a large brain compared to their body size. But I'm thinking about the blue whale and other whales where their brain would actually be larger. So it could be they have the largest brain of the land mammals. But maybe someone can check out the size of the brain of the elephant against the blue whale and see how it compares. But thanks for that one, Helen. I always find those ones interesting. And it's always great to start a little bit of a debate. I can hear a squirrel calling fairly close to the elephants, and there's no elephants reacting, so I wonder if the squirrel's actually calling because of the elephants. Or maybe there is an eagle or something around. Not really heard a squirrel's calling because of the elephants. Oh, there we go. The greeting between the two boys. Trunks in the mouths. Squirrels generally do know the difference between predators and herbivores. But maybe it's a young squirrel who's not too sure. could even be a snake. As I say, I'm not seeing any of the elephants reacting, and even snakes they may react to. Is that for us or flies? Oh, warthog. Oh, elephant chasing warthog. Just on the road. And here comes the mums with the babies. Mel has a slight look of confusion on his face. And there goes the warthogs. I must admit that's the first time I've ever seen warthogs run through a herd of elephants. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today. It's been quite nice and peaceful and relaxed, and as I say, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with those wild dogs later on this afternoon. I'm definitely keeping my fingers crossed, but it sounds like they are still sleeping underneath the tree. So they are very much flat dogs at the moment, but keep your fingers crossed. We'll also try and have a look for the baboons again this afternoon, maybe see how their mother-to-be is doing, and hopefully tomorrow she might give birth. They tend to give birth overnight, but we'll still keep a lookout. But thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for all your questions and for the answers. And hopefully I'll be able to give you a little bit more information about that legless skink later on this afternoon too. But my name's been Tara. Herman's been joining me on camera, Mark in final control. So thanks for joining us here on Wild Earth. Take care everyone.